Welcome back to the States. I'm Jim Talamonti in for Greg Bishop. America is talking. Let's get to Medicaid fraud. This has drawn increased attention from the federal government and from taxpayers across the country. So we head to Greensboro, North Carolina. Medicaid reimbursed a business $1.7 million that prosecutors said was fraudulent. 55-year-old Gwendolyn Singleton, owner of Joel Center Hope in Greensboro, pleaded guilty in federal court. Prosecutors said Singleton executed the scheme through urine drug test claims between June 2021 and March 2023, using the name of a nurse practitioner and a doctor who said they did not provide the services. And if you look at the dollar amounts involved here, state appropriations in North Carolina for Medicaid increased 57%. From 2021 to 2025, 57%, $3.93 billion to $6.17 billion, and state Medicaid expenditures rose 97% over that period of time. And federal Medicaid expenditures, again, we're talking taxpayer dollars here, rose more than 100%, 102.8%, from $12.33 billion to over $25 billion from fiscal years 2021 to 25. So that's the latest case in North Carolina. There are many of these around the country. Let's talk energy. Let's talk boundaries. Let's go to the Gulf Coast of the United States. A bipartisan coalition of lawmakers in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana are pushing to change a 73-year-old law that limits their state's maritime boundaries to 3 miles offshore. So this could reshape the regulation of local fisheries and could generate billions of dollars in tax revenues from offshore energy and minerals leases. And anyone who's familiar at all with Gulf Coast states knows that offshore oil is a pretty big deal. The Offshore Parity Act would extend the state waters from 3 nautical miles out to 9. This would match the boundaries currently held by Texas and Florida. So this would give these Gulf states full economic control over new leases for traditional oil and gas drilling, also seabed mineral mining, and permanent offshore carbon sequestration. So this is something that is being proposed for, again, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana, and there could be great benefits to the shrimping industry and the other fishing industries that are pretty important there in the Gulf. Let's head just a little bit to the west, to Texas. The Texas Health and Human Services Commission is cracking down on birth tourism. This is in response to a directive from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who directed state action to investigate one form of visa and immigration fraud, birth tourism, which he says will expand after the Supreme Court made its 14th Amendment ruling, as reported on at the Center Square. The court held that children born in the U.S. by mothers who are unlawfully in the country still have citizenship rights. So in Texas, the Health and Human Services Commission there has investigated birth tourism allegations and referred 2 facilities in particular to the Office of the Attorney General there. The 2 centers are apparently affiliated, according to this referral, with the Prime Healthcare Foundation. The website listed on a billboard, this was real, HaveMyBabyInTexas.com. That website appears to have been taken down, but an archived version was still available online. Governor Abbott's office encourages the public to report birth tourism advertising, and his government is clearly taking a more aggressive stance there. Let's go to the Midwest. And, well, really, this is a national story involving a lot of states, but in particular Michigan, where Attorney General Dana Nessel joined with 14 other attorneys general on a lawsuit attempting to stop the U.S. Department of Education from cutting funding to school-based mental health grants. This coalition, we're talking 15 states here, said these cuts are unlawful because the funding was already appropriated by Congress for these grants. So we've heard this in previous cases involving other federal funding issues. This is about $1 billion here that could be terminated by the end of July. Here are the states suing over this. In addition to Michigan, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Washington State, and Wisconsin. This was filed in Washington, Western District, Seattle. So those are some of the latest issues America's talking about. You can find out a whole lot more at thecentersquare.com. That's America's Talking on this Wednesday, July 15th. Again, much more on these stories and others impacting taxpayers at thecentersquare.com. So please like, share, subscribe on all your favorite platforms. Thanks for joining us today. Again, thanks to Sam and Eliana for getting the guest host through. I'm Jim Talamonti in for Greg Bishop today. There will be more tomorrow on The States, powered by the Center Square.